Welcome back to another episode of the Boat Babe podcast with your favorite boat babe here, Mary Allison. I'm sitting here on the boat with my Chihuahua having some time of just sitting and sweating because summer has officially arrived here on the Gulf Coast of the United States, and it is hot. We have had that crazy spring weather where it's like you can't get any projects done on the outside because you wake up in the morning and it's either sunny and then it's going to rain, or it's rainy and then it's going to be sunny and nothing actually dries because the humidity is so high. But I'm not complaining right now. We're living in paradise, and we live in the best part of the country. No matter what is going on in the rest of the world, you can always rely on some good old boys driving by in their trucks. You can always rely on the Chick-fil-A line being almost twice wrapped around the building. And Lowe's and Home Depot will always have what you need. But anyway, a boat project that I've been working on lately is rebuilding my air conditioning manifold. And guess what? I built it completely wrong. And if I left it the way that it is, it could sink my boat faster than anything else that I've ever built or repaired on my boat. And the reason for that is because I built my air conditioning manifold with white PVC pipe. So what I've learned is I should have replaced the manifold with the same exact type of pipe called Schedule 80. It's your gray PVC pipe than I did with the white one. So basically, my previous manifold was made with the gray pipe called Schedule 80. And where I live, I tried every big box store, small box store, mom and pop store. I could not find anything but white PVC pipe, the stuff you find at Home Depot, to rebuild this manifold. And as of right now, it's working completely fine. Nothing's going to knock it. Nothing's going to hit it. But number one, I wasn't able to add any ball valves, like Y valves. I don't actually need the Y, but ball valve. I wasn't able to add any because I couldn't find any that fit any of the fittings. And so if I did need to work on any of the air conditioning units, and I didn't need water running to it, but I wanted to continue to have the air conditioning running on any of my other units, since I only have one pump that goes to 3 different AC units, I would have to just shut the whole system off, which is what I've had to do in the past, work on that unit, sweat my you-know-what off till I finish the project, hoping I finish the project. And then if I didn't finish the project, I would just sweat all night until I could finish it the next day. So I want to add ball valves, shut-offs. And so I can work on a unit, work on the next unit, clean a unit, just make it easier to barnacle buster each one. But I couldn't find the right fitting size anyway. And so I actually learned that I had used the wrong type of PVC from a YouTuber named Sailing Dauntless. Thank you so much, Sailing Dauntless, for doing an episode about your refit on your catamaran, because basically his system is a souped up larger version of the system that I have, but it was basically the same concept. And I had messaged him and said, "Oh, I love your video. I'm actually doing the same thing." And his response was, "Look at my next video before you do what you're doing, before you finish your project." And so I did. And I said, that is exactly why my manifold was gray pipe versus white. So that's a project I've been working on. Another thing that we've been working on is replacing the AC hoses. So a lot of you on Instagram at That Boat Babe have asked me and wanted to talk about what is going on with my air conditioning. And if you follow me on YouTube, I have a video on there about how to clean your marine air conditioning hoses. And in that, you can also clean your manifold if you've got it kind of set up that way. And over the years, the gunk, I'm guessing, in my hoses has become immune to barnacle busters. And I'm saying that jokingly, but not at the same time. So I try not to clean out my air conditioning unit with barnacle busters more than once a year. Where the boat stays, it is brackish water. So, and in the heat, I mean, it just builds up algae and crud just so quick. I've got to clean my sea strainer right now. I don't need to leave the boat without doing that today, or I just don't need to forget. So the air conditioning hoses have gotten just so clogged to the point where it's time. It's time to replace them. Newer hoses today they're clear hoses, but they also have the reinforced wire through the hose. And that is like the old hoses that I have that were black with that reinforced wire. You know, when you try to cut a hose and you're like, I can't get through it because you got the metal wire. That's the kind of hose you need for your water lines. So I got about 55 feet. I'm going to replace all 3 units hoses. The one in the aft is pretty close. The mid is probably like 15 feet, and the one to the bow is far. It's probably 35, 40 feet of hose. So that one's going to be tough. But what I'm going to do to replace those is I bought, what's it called? A little connector that I can put, that's not the correct word at all, but I'm having like total, I don't know, hot brain, summer brain, girl brain, blonde brain, but I'm not blonde anymore. I bought a little connector where I could just put the hoses together. And if I have enough space, I'll be able to put a hose clamp on them, but I think I can just probably use a little bit of duct tape to hold them together because it's pretty tight on the word is coming to me. Y'all know exactly what I'm trying to say. The barb, hose barb. Yeah, that's it. So I bought like a double male hose barb, and it's going to hold my old hose and my new hose together, and I'm going to be able to pull/push it through the floor, under the couch, under the toilet, above. I mean, it's just like, it's got to go through a whole nother country under this floor to try to get to where it needs to go. But I'm assuming it's all going to stay together, and the way I'm talking about it now sounds like it's just going to be super easy. It's all just going to slide out perfectly. But I really think buying that really tight fitting hose barb is going to help, because I will easily be able to pull the old hose or push the old hose through with the new hose attached to it, and then just hook them right back up. But it'll be nice because the way my hose lengths are right now going to that manifold, I don't have much wiggle room to manipulate and change the manifold any at all. Like, the hoses are cut to where the old manifold was. But what I'm going to do is I am going to rebuild it. I'm going to add those ball valves. I might move it up. I might move it down. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to manipulate it for the best water flow yet. But I just am glad I'm going to replace those hoses, because I'm going to be able to have extra length in there to kind of have wiggle room of what I need to do when I remake it. But so the first thing that I found out was wrong is the obvious. Barnacle buster, the AC lines. That's always where you start. Actually, and if you wanted to go more basic than that, blowing out your air conditioning lines with a hose, you just add like mine are 5/8 hoses. And so I just have a 5/8 inch hose barb, and then I connect it to the end of the nozzle on my red nozzle on the hose. And I attach my air conditioning AC line to it, and you can blow through any crud or anything that maybe has gotten stuck in your lines. But then the next step, if that doesn't work, is go to my YouTube channel, That Boat Babe, look at the video that I have posted about cleaning your air conditioning lines with barnacle busters. Do that. If that doesn't work for you, learn from that video and see what does work for you. There might be other videos out there. Your system might look completely different than mine. But you can definitely grasp an idea of what to do with yours if you look at what I did. And then the next step is isolating a bigger problem, which was I had like giant clam growth in my manifold to the point where barnacle busters wasn't doing it. The animal was dead, but the home wasn't going anywhere. And when I blew out each hole where the hose would go on the dock, it was obvious that there was something wedged in there that would actually shift back and forth between two of the hoses. So my forward and my middle air conditioning weren't working basically at all. And I rebuilt the manifold, put it all back together. Then I realized my hoses they're done, because I still don't have water flow. The manifold's not the problem, so I'm going to replace the hoses. After that, I might have to upload another podcast episode about the next thing that might be the problem. But that's the best part about boating. Like every single day, you learn something new. So I was talking to a business owner here in town. He owns a surf shop called Tambo's, and it's a great place to buy your surfboards. He created a brand called Local. I think he recently sold it, but his artwork is spectacular. I was talking to him. He's anti-house, anti-property, hashtag van life, hashtag live aboard life kind of person. He came up and said, I want to own a boat. I think I want to put it on the anchor or on a mooring ball in Tahiti and fly back and forth and go visit it. And the first thing I said is, do you like doing projects? And he was kind of taken aback. Like, I mean, I like to go surfing and I like to jet ski. And I said, okay, jet skis and sailboats, number one, don't go together. They're too heavy. You're not going to be able to crane that thing up and down, and they're really obnoxious. Nobody likes jet skis. If you have a jet ski, great, good for you. I owned 3. I sunk one. I love jet skis, but I'm also not 17 anymore in a lake by myself where I'm not bothering people. Jet skis are a no-go in the sailing life. In the yachting life, you can get away with it because you can fit it on your bow. So I told him, I said, but we're looking into getting an OC tender, 15 horsepower Mercury on the back. Like, that's going to get you around just fine. And you're not a jet ski owner. And it's 115 pounds-ish without the engine. So it's not going to sink your sailboat. And he went back to the, do I like doing projects question? Or do you like doing projects? And he said, well, do you just spend all day doing projects? And I said, while living on the boat, you have to devote a couple hours a day to doing projects. I said, right now I'm rebuilding my AC manifold, realized, what I just told you, it's not built properly, but it's a big learning game. And I didn't even really get to the point of saying the Gulf Coast of the United States and Tahiti are very, very far away. Anchoring your boat in Tahiti, and first of all, you're so far away that if there's like a storm or something, or maybe, you start taking on water, like you just kind of have $100,000 sitting there at anchor. It could be 15 grand. It doesn't matter. Sitting there at anchor with your name on it, that's not really being taken care of. And when I was a stewardess on yachts, the first thing I realized was my job when the crew was off the boat was to babysit the boat. And unfortunately, I didn't have a whole lot of knowledge under my belt. So let's say something were to go wrong, I really couldn't do anything anyway, looking back. But being a babysitter for a boat is actually a really big job. So babysitting your own boat is also your job. And having a boat on anchor in Tahiti is probably not what I would do. That's why you have a lot of boats for sale. If y'all ever go on Yacht World or Edwards Yacht Sales or just on Facebook Marketplace, you'll find boats at the far reaches of the world, like Tahiti, Hawaii, down in Trinidad, where else? Panama. There's a lot of boats in those areas because people get them there and then go back to their normal lives and forget about them. Realize it's too much to sail them back. They go visit the boat and realize the maintenance is way over their head and they can't do it. So I don't necessarily think it's a great idea to buy a boat and anchor it in Tahiti and then just fly back to the United States and live your life thinking it's going to be perfectly clean, dry. I just know, like, the projects are going to be like way over your head to that point. But I guess it's doable. I just don't think I'd try it myself. So anyway, back to my project here. I'm going to finish the air conditioning. We've had family in town, lots and lots of really fun events. So the boat hadn't been getting my number one attention, and neither has this podcast. And so, yeah, I'm trying to get back into it, but I'm going to go enjoy the pool today. I don't go in pools don't do anything with a pool. I'm always on the water. But I have a girlfriend who has a wonderful house right across from the marina where my dad keeps his Viking. So I'm going to drive over there and go have girl time with her today, enjoy this gorgeous weather, and then continue with my merry boat projects. So I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope this podcast came in handy for, to maybe just soften your boredom a little bit, maybe inspire you to work on your own boat, maybe inspire you to buy a boat. Either way, find me on Instagram at thatboatbabe. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I love you so much, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. Okay, bye.